Right, people, we learned how to differentiate two functions with a product rule individually, a quotient rule individually, and also with chain rule. And we also learned problems involving product and quotient rule together. All right, now let's work with all the three rules. There is product, quotient, and chain rule combined. All right, these can be little complicated problems. Let's talk about one of them. Let's say y is equal to sine of x into e power x. That's a product rule. And the whole thing, let's say, is tan inverse of x. These two guys have a quotient rule here. Now let's say the whole thing is inside a root. Okay, so now it goes like, the first thing to differentiate is a root, and inside that you have sine, e power x, and tan. They are all three different functions. All right, let me tell you this at this point, it's important. If at all I say I have sine x into e power x, see, I see these two as two different functions because there are two x's here. There's one x and one x here. If at all I have sine of x, or let's just say sine of e power x, now this is only one function, but this guy follows chain rule. It means there's only one x. All right, here I may have to use UV rule, that is product rule. Here I will use the chain rule. First differentiate sine and then differentiate e function. All right, so that's how it is. You should learn how to differentiate between product rule and chain rule. In this case, I can see that the root belongs to the whole thing. Okay, so I can take this as one function and this whole thing as one function, and inside this I have a product and a quotient. So let's start the problem and see how it works. Okay, so these kind of problems, I have a combined chain and product and quotient rule. So what is the first thing to differentiate is this guy. So I'll take it as 1 by 2 root of this thing, that is sine x into e power x by tan inverse of x. I just differentiated root like that, and into differentiation of what all is inside the root, that is sine x into e power x by tan inverse of x, and that's it. Now, do you have any chains here? There are no chains because everyone has got a single x. There are three functions and there are three x's. There is no chain. So what we have is a quotient rule, u by v, two guys. This one team, this one team. So now let us use quotient rule first before I can use the product rule. So I'll write this guy, that is 2 root of sine x in the e power x by tan inverse of x. That remains there. Now how do you differentiate this guy? That is u by v rule, that is denominator first, tan inverse of x into differentiation of the numerator, that is sine x into e power x, plus sine x into e power x into differentiation of the denominator, that is tan inverse of x, and that's it. Yep, the whole thing divided by tan inverse of x, the whole squared. Done. So now here I only differentiate the root, square root, that's it. All right, now here I come again, I separating them. Right, I'm just separating them, I'm getting them single at a time so that I can belt them, that is, I can differentiate them. Right, if you remember the belting rule starting we discussed. Right, so now I can see that differentiation sign is for sine and e power x, and there's a product rule between them. There are two guys, I can't differentiate them. This guy is single, that I can still differentiate. Right, so let's go ahead and write this whole thing again. How can I bring them or make them single before I can actually use the formulas of differentiation? That is 1 by 2 root sine x and e power x by tan inverse of x. Got to do nothing here. And in this case, I have tan inverse of x, nothing to do with this guy also. Now here I have a belting sign, or the differentiation sign according to us, right? So now here there are two functions. So I need to separate them again. That is sine x into differentiation of e power x plus e power x into differentiation of sine x. Yes, I separated these two guys again, plus I have sine x into e power x into differentiation of tan inverse of x. Okay, I'll do this in the next step. The whole thing divided by tan inverse of x, the whole squared. Now, so far I didn't use any formula for differentiation. Right, so far what I just used was chain with a root, and that's it. And inside here I had a product rule and a quotient rule, so I separated them all. See, I got this guy single, this guy single, and this guy single. So there are three functions, 1 2 3, right, and one chain which I finished. Now is the differentiation part. Here it goes like 1 by, I just write this plain as it is, sine x into e power x by tan inverse of x, and this guy would be tan inverse of x into sine x remains like that, and I'm going to differentiate e power x, that is e power x itself, plus e power x, and differentiation of sin x is cos x. Is done. Plus sin x into e power x remains the same, into differentiation of tan inverse x is 1 by 1 plus x squared, and that's what we have, right? The whole thing is divided by, I can say, tan inverse of x the whole squared, and that's all is your answer. Very simple. Now we understand what's happening, right? If it is a combination of a chain rule, product rule, and quotient rule together, it is very simple. Be patient and see, identify which is the outermost function, differentiate that using chain rule, and the rest of it using product rule or quotient rule. Right, let's do a couple of more problems to understand this. And next time I'll not be in that detail explaining, I'll just do a couple of problems.